Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo and this is my forever co-host Jum. And for our April Fool's lineup, I find it fitting that we're doing something that's celebrating its 20th anniversary. God damn, I am old.
Not gonna lie, seeing from the thumbnail, you're hitting two birds with one stone here, since this is a funny movie, but at the same time, it is also a religious movie.
Oh yes, because Holy Week's around the corner.
Yeah, so we're hitting two birds with one stone here.
Yeah, but yeah, I've seen the title and the thumbnail. We're doing Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston, who I completely forgot was his girlfriend in the movie. I'm like, oh right, the person from Friends is his girlfriend. Cool.
Hey man,
and Morgan Freeman. How could I forget?
Yeah, Jim Carrey is the only person who was able to end up with two of the girls from Friends. So,
what was the other one?
Courtney Cox, Ace Ventura.
That wasn't Courtney Cox. That was Sean Gunn from Blade Runner.
That was Courtney Cox.
That was Courtney Cox? Oh.
No, but she was the other girl, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not Ihorn.
Oh, right. Ihorn was Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn, yeah. Okay, anyway. I think this movie will be pretty short because this is a chill movie. There's not much. Not saying it's dumb, but there's not much going other than poor Bruce is always down on his luck. He can't catch a break. He wants a job to be an anchor. Can't have that. He's just a funny guy. But everyone else is like, why don't you want to be funny? What's wrong with being funny? It's like, no, I want to be taken seriously.
But the message is you don't have to be.
Yeah.
But look, we've all had those moments, exactly like Bruce, where he's going through life, and it ain't going his way, and then he's just like, why God?
Why God?
I know it's blasphemous words to say, but at some point, you just ask it.
I mean, is your life really that bad if you have Jennifer Aniston as your girlfriend?
Right? And his apartment's not that bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want a mediocre life. I was like,
your apartment's pretty good.
No, exactly. Not just that. Look, he has a very hot girlfriend. He lives in New York with a very spacious apartment. For sure, he doesn't complain about rent, so I'm guessing he's able to, keep it up.
Yeah.
One of those things would cost you an arm and a leg. And he drives a 240Z. Before he got the really expensive Sienna, I forgot what you call it. Whatever Koenigsegg it was. This man was driving a 240Z, which costs an arm and a leg now. And I don't know why they crashed it. I'm like, oh my god! Oh, they didn't know how much that is now! Oh god, that hurt me. That hurt me when he hit the pole. I'm like, I get it. It's supposed to represent the rundown, down on your luck car. When this is supposed to be the peak of car culture vehicles, and then they treated it I was like, and then they smashed it, and I was like,
wow.
Anyway, if you don't know what a 240Z is, Enzo, slap a photo on. Yeah, Han has one. Sun Kang has a 240Z. And he treasures that thing like a baby. So, or a 280, either one. But yeah.
I do like the scene when he's passed on for promotion instead of him, it's Steve Carell's character, Evan, and he just loses it on the boat. It's like, why, Rose? Why did you let DiCaprio die? There's enough room.
There's enough room on the door. And he's just going out and just oh god, he's just losing his shit. What was the last thing he said?
So long.
That's how to
cookie crumbles.
Oh, so long. So long.
Fuckers. What you're never supposed to do in any broadcast position.
I don't know how he got the job back. But I feel like after that kind of fiasco, you're not getting that job back.
No, reporters have been fired for less in that field. So you're like, how do you get it back? And then like he's down in his luck, and like things just get worse and worse. Like he talks shit about Jennifer Aniston and the apartment. And you're like, man, you count your blessings. Like at least she's still with you.
But nobody really wants to hear that. When like shit's been tossed at you, the last thing you want to hear is, "Hey, be grateful for the other thing." So I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You be grateful. Like.
But yeah.
In the lockdown, when people are just like, "Oh, just watch Netflix," like you just fucking watch Netflix. See how long it takes you until you. Huh?
Yeah. Sorry. Correction. It was a Celine S7. I had to look it up.
Of course.
Yeah.
Also,
but yeah, it's a pretty cool car. But I do like 240Z a little bit more.
It also hurts when
280Z. Wow. Sorry.
When you work your ass off for a position, and you're like, "I am nice. I work my ass off for this position," and then it's given to someone who's a bit more douchey. You're like, why him? I
okay.
him.
We'll talk about the sequel to this movie another time, but I do like it that this is the trend.
Yeah.
I wish they continued it. Like, it started with Bruce Almighty, and then we get Evan Almighty. And Evan is the douchey character from this movie, and then God like moves on to him.
Yeah.
And we have this whole Noah's Ark thing like going on. I like that theme. I wish they kept it going. Like, we'll get another character that kind of needs help from Evan Almighty, and then that's a third movie, and it's another, like, he tries to kill his son or something. I don't know.
And like I think this came out the same time as the DreamWorks like Bible movies too. So we're like, you know what? If you want to do a Bible movie or God themed movie, this is the way to do it.
There's no way to do it. Like, you don't. It wasn't really okay. At some points it was, but like, it didn't really want to shove its ideals down your throat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was there to be a fun movie at the same time, but again, it wasn't like. No.
You have to believe this.
On the nose kind of deal, which I really appreciated. It was still funny. Like, you know how some other movies kind of just under-delivers on the... I mean, they over-deliver with a message, but under-delivers when it came to...
the product.
Writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, remember in our old school where we're like, God, what movie are they going to show? And then it's Bruce Almighty. You're like, yay!
Which was very odd because there is a little bit of, like PG-13 shit there.
Yeah.
Like him, like, having sex with his wife and shit. I'm like... the pleasure scene.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
No! Yeah, they fast forward a couple times because they're like, oh, God. We haven't gotten to the birds and the bees yet. And these kids are exposed to whatever he's doing to Jennifer Aniston.
What do you mean they haven't gone to the birds or the bees yet? They never went there.
No, I mean in our school, they're just like, we'll never talk about it ever until like high school.
They'll experience it on their own.
Anyway, before we move on, like I think this safe to say this is our first exposure to Steve Carell as well. And you're like, I wonder if I'm going to see him in more movies, and you do see him in a shit ton of more movies. But yeah, I love how God works in a building called Omnipresence. You're like, see what you did there. And then you get Morgan Freeman as God, and for years that's always been the joke. Like, oh, God's in the Batman movie. God's in this movie. God's in Seven.
I feel guilty because, like, for me, every time I would think of God, I would think of Morgan Freeman. Because, like, the dude kind of seems like it. He was like that in the bucket list for some reason. He was very omnipresent and omnipotent.
It doesn't help that National Geographic has a series about God, and he's the host.
He's the one narrating. So I'm like, man, you're overselling it. I think this might be God just like doing his thing. Like, this is him on Earth, and he's just doing side quests, like kind of fucking with us a little bit. Like, hi, I'm actually God, or am I? You know, like that's Morgan Freeman right now, I think.
Yeah, like, you know what? If there was a God, I would think Morgan Freeman would be the perfect avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like, it's either him, Tom Hanks, or Pedro Pascal. And you're like, ah, that makes sense.
I see Pedro Pascal as more of a Jesus. Sorry.
And then Bruce is given the powers of God, and I do like him like in the diner, like separating the soup. Like, funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I do love the scene where God would like, hey, thou shalt not test thy father or something like that. I forgot what the words were. But he was like, oh, well, how many fingers am I holding up? And I was like, you shouldn't do that. I was like, oh, I guess you're not God then. I was like, that is something like all of us would do if somebody came up to us and was like, hey, I am God.
How many fingers? 5. And he makes it 7. Like, ha!
No, it was like 7, and then he turned it into 5, and he was like, ha! And then there was 2 extra fingers. And I was like, that shit was funny.
And then he scares the shit out of the Latino gang that you beat him up. It's like,
And scratched up the fucking 280Z. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
That makes me so angry.
Like, if you want me to apologize, that will only happen if a monkey comes out of my ass. And you're like, is it going to happen? And it does happen. You're like, oh, cool. Traumatizing to the poor guy, but funny.
Yeah, and they were all, as children, wondering why our teachers would show us this movie. But I'm glad they did. Because this is the only, like, religious movie that I would actually really watch.
Yeah, it's this, Prince of Egypt, and the Joseph movie. Where I'm like, you know what? It's fine. You can watch this.
Evan Almighty, Book of Eli.
Right, I forgot that's like Bible-centric. Anyway. And then that's how he gets his job back, right? Because he discovers the body of Jimmy Hoffa, also plants like a shit ton of weed in the other reporter's car. That's how he got his job back, because he found something no one else thought they would find. Like, I'm sure, like, if a disgraced reporter found out who killed JFK, they'd be like, wow, your investigation skills are amazing.
Yeah. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do love the scene where he did have the Celine? I'm gonna pull it. I'm not very good with this card. I think it's American.
And then that's where we also get the scene where he's just fucking with Evan, doing the blah, 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 blah.
That shit killed me when I was a kid. I was like, I would do that if I was God.
Me too. I'm like, this asshole's been messing with my life. I'll make him say something stupid or say something cursed for a public job. I'm like, it's my position now, asshole.
Yeah.
Also, like how he pulls the moon for. Is your dog okay?
She just sounds like that.
Okay. He pulls the moon for Jennifer Aniston. Has no idea of the consequences that will happen to poor Japan.
Which was like very odd because I was like, I don't know. Wait, around that time, was there a tsunami in Japan?
No.
No? Because that's kind of like tough knowing the fact that like years down the line it does happen. But yeah, anyway, like he does pull like the moon to make it more romantic and puts a little bit of stars. And, like he makes it like the falling star or like the shower thing. Meteor shower, there we go, fuck.
Alright, he makes shit happen. And you're like, I don't think that's ethical in the slightest. Having a meteor, like a world-ending meteorite crash into your neighborhood, you're like, alright.
Love this. He's just getting ready. And it's like, oh, give me 1 minute to get ready. And he's going like, pleasure! And then, Jennifer Aniston's like acting up. And she comes out of the bathroom and he's like, ah!
The first time I saw this with my mom and sister, like I turned to my mom and her eyes were just like.
Your mom and my parents are completely different people because they were dying.
And then life is going good for Bruce. And then it all comes crashing down in the party where he cheats on his girlfriend with Catherine Bell's character.
Yeah. She hot, but like, really? over Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, no, because there was a moment where like Jennifer Aniston wants her life to move forward.
Yeah.
So like, oh, he brings her to a massage place, and like takes her to this restaurant where they had their first date, and it's like, oh, here he comes, he's gonna propose, and no, he was just there just to tell her,
I made anger. Or like, you fucking douche.
You piece of shit, you made it all look like you're about to propose and shit. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just tell her straight up.
Like, why do you have to kneel? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You kneel in front of your girlfriend for 5 years, and you're like, oh, she won't think I would propose. You're like, are you fucking idiot?
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know. Like, if she said something like, oh, I thought you were going to propose, and she's going to feel disappointed. Being God, you could have been like, hey, I actually was.
Yeah.
You know?
Just materialize it.
Yeah.
How dare you cheat on Jennifer Aniston to the music of Avril Lavigne? That's how you know it's from 2003.
Oh my god, I forgot. That's why it was stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Also, that's how I learned how to spell beautiful when I was a kid, is because of Evan Almighty. Sorry. Bruce Almighty. It's like B-E-A beautiful. And like, I can spell the beautiful part, it's just the B-E-A part that was getting me. I was a child, I was a problematic child.
That's fine. And you're like, yep, this is definitely from 2003. Like, nothing says 2003 like Avril Lavigne.
Yes. And, what was it? Yeah, he cheats on her, not really. Yes, he does. He makes out with a girl, doesn't really stop it. And then Jennifer Aniston sees it, and then she was like, oh, fuck it, we're done.
Yeah, and that's the point. He also says yes to every prayer. You're like, fine, you win the lottery, you win this, you get dollar, you get a few more entries where it matters. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, like, what was the girl? She was like, oh, I lost 11 pounds. I'm just doing my Krispy Kreme diet. I was like, sign on.
Did you lose your diabetes too? Jesus Christ.
I
think the main point for our school showing this, like, oh, this is why God doesn't say yes to everything. You're like, that's a long way to get from A to Z.
Yeah. And the whole free will thing, which kind of gave us the theory of, like, us in the religious area. Does God really control everything, or does he just give us free will and let us do our own thing?
I thought you were about to say, for us in the religious school, we were like, we have free wills? What is
we
that?
had free will? Which we never had. No.
We had, but the school was like...
the main thing.
Sorry, we had, but the school was like, no, do this.
Yeah.
But you were saying?
But that was the main thing about this movie. It's like, kind of divided some people, where they're like, oh, God has it all planned out. I was like, no, God gives you free will and lets you do whatever you want, but he'll help you along the way. I was like, everybody shut up. That's all I just wanted to say. It's like, no, shut up. I have my own concept of God.
Yeah.
I'll follow you.
And just the small consequences of like, hey, cool, I won the lottery along with like 50 people. Now I have like $7.
No, it was like 40,000 other people.
Oh yeah, 40,000.
That's why they only have $17, which is so funny. And like, yeah, and like it's rioting like the hockey team or something like won, so people are going ape shit.
The scene that does impact me when he's like trying to control Jennifer Aniston, he's like, love me, and she's like, I did. You're like, oh shit. Ooh. You fucked up, man. Why?
Oh shit. And then that's when he was like, okay. I love it that he kept the card. like when he's done with being God, he still has that card.
And like, right, he can hear their prayers as all this madness is going down. And he prepares the world. He's like, you know what? No one gets their prayers answered. It's not a straight yes, but at the same time, we're like, some of those people could be like, my mom has cancer. Can you please help God?
what we learned from this movie, it doesn't really work that way.
That's
and yeah, that's very bleak. But yeah, like I do like that, like Morgan Freeman's like dialogue where he was like, "Oh, a miracle is not like when you make something happen out of nowhere. It's mom working 2 jobs and having time to like spend time with her kids and like all that jazz. Like those are miracles.
You be the miracle."
And I was like, yeah, you be the miracle, which is a really good message. Like, you have the free will, you could actually change it. You just have to put a little bit of elbow grease in it. I'm like, okay. Like, it's not gonna be given to you. Like, from a prayer, shit ain't gonna be given to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a really good message.
Yeah.
Again, not down in your, like, shove it down your throat kind of deal, but
It's
really
just
good message.
pretty much good life advice. We're like, you know what, that makes sense. I will apply that to my life every day now.
Yeah, same here.
Also like how he repairs his relationship with Evan. And I'm like, good for you, Bruce. Like, for as much as Evan is a douche, he doesn't deserve that. So you're like, you know what, I acknowledge like this job does belong to you because you did earn it. To fair means, even though you are an asshole most of the time, you did earn it through your own hard work. And for me to invalidate that was completely wrong. You're like, ah, cool, character growth. It wouldn't Bruce.
Yeah. But after the whole love me, it's like, love me, and then I did. And he's just down on his luck, and now he's in the rain, and he's just like all sulking and shit.
He hears her prayers, and he's like, I
don't want to love him anymore.
Yeah.
Something you don't never want to hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, oh, God, take this power away from me. And then, like, you see a light, and, oh shit, it's actually a truck. And then he gets isekai, doom, like, sick. But yeah, he's dead.
Yes. But he does, yeah, like, can you just make sure Jennifer Aniston has someone watching over her? Someone that she deserves?
No, yeah, that shit hit hard where he was like, oh, you want her to, like, love you again. He was like, no. I just want her to be happy. And I was like, oh! Sorry.
And then God's like, funny you say that. I have the best answer for you. And then he sends him right down to Earth. And it's like, he's alive. Like, I like how the Mack truck hit him enough to knock him out, not enough to, like, completely destroy him. Like, oh, cool.
Like, Swiss cheese, like...
like,
yeah, like Jennifer Aniston's there. They make it up. They make up from there.
Yeah. And then he has a new leash on life. He's doing his own... Has a new catchphrase like, oh, you be the miracle. I'm like, God, I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you mean lease?
Sorry, lease. Sorry, I said leash for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean, I wouldn't mind. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna shut up.
But yeah, everything's good. And like the only injury he has is like a broken leg. You're like, you know what? Sure, why not? You were God for this movie. I'll take it.
And then like, I think that's where it ends.
Yeah, it's a happy ending. Like, I don't know why these feel-good comedies have been slowly fading away as we reach the 2010s, because I do miss the era of like every once in a while, or not every once in a while, but like every weekend, like, oh, here's a new rom-com or like comedy. Do you want to check it out? It's like with Owen Wilson or Jim Carrey.
Yeah, and like rom-coms back in the day, back in like early 2000s, hit different. Like, they were actually funny.
Yeah.
Like now we get there's that one where this guy from what do you call it, Pitch Perfect, is like an airy like rom-com or raunchy comedy, and it's never good. No offense to that guy, for sure you're funny in your life, but the movies aren't that great. Except for Pitch Perfect, you were good there. Kinda. I don't know, I didn't like Pitch Perfect.
But yeah, rom-coms that feel this way have been few and far between. You're like, I do miss the days when it's like, oh, it's a rom-com, and then next weekend it's like a historical epic like Troy, and then maybe we'll get a Fantastic Four. Now it's just like, oh, comic book movies rule the roost, and if you're not a comic book movie or an original or like a sequel or a remake, you don't get a theatrical cut. You get moved to Netflix. You're like, why?
Yeah, and that's why like the whole like rom-com thing, or romance movies is pretty much, or romance media is very dominated by K-drama. Like,
yeah,
that's where you go to for your like love fix.
yeah,
your,
yeah.
Your romantic fix.
Well, it's making a small comeback. Comeback. With like, I don't know what's that. Yeah,
I don't want to fight me neither.
Come on, comic book movies. Let's fucking fight. Like there was one last year. There was one with like Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez. I was about to say Ana de Armas. I'm like, what? That's the wrong Latin actress.
I don't know that one.
There's also one, I don't know, show the trailer of like, there's a Jennifer Lawrence one where she's trying to help this teen go through puberty or something like that. You're like, interesting premise.
Okay.
It feels like we're back in 2003, which I kind of like.
Okay, it's a little bit odd, but okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All those things being said about Bruce Almighty, what would you rate this?
I don't know. Like, I had a good time here. This is the one where I'm like, I can actually watch for the laughs and giggles, and also be like, if you're in a religious family, this is also a good time to watch.
Yeah.
Because it does have a good message in it. Yeah, I think it's a good comedy.
Yeah.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time, it's well written.
Yeah.
I love it for that. Is it the best movie in the world? God no. But it's still a good time. It's a good turn off your brain kind of thing. But yeah, I'm deducting points for them ruining that 280Z, but
Really?
no. I think that's deserved, but it's a 7 out of 10. Sticking to the theme of God, it's a 7 out of 10.
You know what? I'll give this a very chill 7 out of 10. It's like, it's a pretty good movie. Like you said, like especially for Holy Week, it was like, oh, for Good Friday, what do you want to watch? Passion of the Christ or this one? You're like, I don't want to vomit, so I'll watch Bruce. Can we please watch Bruce Almighty? It's pretty funny. Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's in it. I don't want to see poor Jim Caviezel get the shit kicked out of him again.
Him actually breaking a rib.
Yes. But yeah, just good. And like, there's so many things that came out of this. We're like, oh, Morgan Freeman's always God forever and always until the end of time, which is fun. It doesn't matter if we're like in 2049 with all the flying cars and shit. The one thing that will still be there is that, oh, Morgan Freeman's God. Cool.
Yeah.
And it's just a good time. It's just chill. It's just relaxed. And there's some moments where that hits, where it's the I did love you, and you're like, oh god, this movie hits. Which I love when comedies are like, oh, I think it's like just surface level, but then it hits you in the gut. You're like, you didn't have to do me dirty, but thank you for reminding me that comedy has that power. But yeah, 7 out of 10 across the board. It's a pretty good movie. I'm like, if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know why you haven't, because it's one of Jim Carrey's best. And then like a year later, he does fucking Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and that's like a complete 180 from this one. You're like, Jesus Christ.
I need to watch that. I really do. I haven't seen it.
Oh, we'll definitely do it for our Valentine's Day launch next year.
Okay. I heard it was very sad.
Yes.
But okay.
Exactly. It's 20 years next year, so that's the perfect time. Anyway, that's been our video on Bruce Almighty. If you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on TikTok and Spotify. Spotify to hear us on the go. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. Individually, you can find me at Kendolphus1995 on Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at JumGM on Instagram. It doesn't matter.
And for the next one, we're also going to be talking about another classic. If you grew up in the mid 2000s or early 2000s, So yeah, look forward to that. Bye everybody.
Yeah. Ciao.